Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the Swatch Show. This is the Fall Winter 2025 Quick Dry edition. I have 12 new gorgeous shades of our dries in 1 minute longest lasting quick dry polish on the market. Polish is here for you. If you've never seen the Swatch Show before, we show you the new colors in the bottle. We show them to you on swatch sticks and then we show them to you as they relate to their closest color cousins in the Olive June universe. We're gonna try a slightly different format for today's episode. So as always, let us know in the comments what you think. We love all of your feedback and can't wait to show you these new shades. So these 12 new colors are part of the Be Bold collection. They are inspired by these really fun, loud, fashion-forward prints that we're seeing on the fall winter runway. So it's sort of a nod to that. As always, our quick dry shades have single word names because they're quick and you're in a hurry and all that good stuff. But let's get right into the colors. The first one and the one that I'm wearing is Slate. This is this cool slate blue. Next we have Moonlight. This is a sheer jelly gray with holographic flakes in it. Next we have Roar. This is a really fun, bold, pinky, scarlety red with a little bit of dustiness in it. We have Darling, which is a hot purpley magenta pink. We have Saucy, which is a deep red with micro glitter in it. We have Bunny, which is a deep purpley brown neutral. We have Inkling, which is a deep, cool charcoal. We have Mossy, which is a very fresh khaki kind of green. We have Jammy, which is a sheer kind of Bordeaux-y kind of red jelly. We have Lovely, which is a dusty rosy pink. Plum, which is, as the name would suggest, a plummy purple. And then last but certainly not least, we have Sable, which is a warm kind of milky chocolate brown kind of color. Okay, so those are the new shades. I do not know, as always, what order these colors are in, but the first thing you're gonna notice about this new format is I've kind of taken down the total number of comparison shades here. And that's so you can really focus on kind of what the true differences are. As always, if you have more shades that you want to see our polishes compared to, let us know in the comments or send us a DM and we will always bring out some more swatches for you. So what I pulled for Slate is kind of a mix of blues and then grays. Within the gray universe at Olive June, we have some that are like more green undertone grays, some that are more blue tone. So I pulled those in here. And I think what this shows is just how blue Slate really is, because the kind of two closest colors to Slate, I would say, are Social Studies and then Favorite Beanie. So as you can see here, it's got the same sort of dustiness and that kind of grayed out nature that dusty shades have, but blue is really the kind of overwhelming color that pops up. I also think it shares a lot of color similarities with C&H. And then I also wanted to show y'all these colors a bit more close up so you can see kind of a bouquet of colors, if you will. So I'll put these in the same order so you can see. It is the Swatch Show, so I do have to throw in a little bit of fun here with Rally Ready, but I think Rally Ready has a little bit of dustiness in it too. So as I always like to say, we like to have fun here. So you can see Slate right here. And it's definitely a blue slate, if that makes sense. Definitely has a lot of blue in it. But a super unique shade, I would say, no question about it. All right, that is Slate. Let's see who's next. Okay, keeping it in the moody vibes, we have Inkling, and this is a cool dark charcoal, but I will say that this also has a fair amount of blue in it because the kind of coolness. Closest comparison to me would be Last Minute Shopping, which is a really, really deep, cool blue toned charcoal shade, but I'm bringing in some favorites here. Again, have to bring in 100% Chance. And then of course favorite Beanie, because those really pick up a lot of the blue as well. I would say Inkling, as the name suggests, is like a faded inky blue. It feels like an ink stain would be how I describe it. It's not nearly as green as Is It Smoky in Here or Scattered Showers, but it's way, when you see it next to Last Minute Shopping, I'll bring it up to the camera in just a second, but you know, it's true what they say, there's a million shades of gray, but again, Inkling to me is very unique. So I'll pull these friends up close so you can see that. Another thing about quick dry, if you're new to the quick dry universe, is we really try to name the names as close to what, and there's Inkling right there, almost has like a little bit of purple indigo in it as well. We try to name the names so that they are kind of more related than not to what the color is, as we tend to have kind of really out there color names for our long lasting polishes, but for quick dry, we try to keep it a little bit tied to what it is, but there is Inkling. All right. Next we have, oh my gosh, one of my favorites, Saucy. So Saucy is a deep red with shimmer in it, and we have some shimmery shades in our world, so I wanted to pull those. I also wanted to pull some reds for you so you could kind of get a sense of what the color base of this shade is. So I pulled in, let's see, Cabernet, splash of crayon. Okay, so here are some reds and some shimmery shades. The kind of shimmer in Saucy is very tiny. It's a micro glitter, but it's not quite as packed as Museum Date is. And Museum Date has this kind of multi-dimensional glitter, while the glitter in Saucy is one tone of silver. The base of Saucy is a deep red, but I would say it's a more brown kind of red, so that's why I wanted to bring Team Spirit in, and then Brick. Of course, it's not nearly as light as Splash of Crayon, not nearly as dark as To Me You're Perfect, and then not as red as Lippy. And then Goal Getter is a lot more brown. So Saucy is so fun. It's such a mood, Saucy. I also love, we spend so much time kind of perfecting these shades and tinkering with the recipe. Secret Recipes, of course, another red that we love. But I think of, you know, closely guarded family sauce secrets. So Saucy felt like a very appropriate name. I feel like I'm fanning a deck of cards or something. Okay, so then here again, you can see closest base for me is Team Spirit. It's not quite as purpley as Cabernet. And you can really see Museum Date is very sparkly. Splash of Crayon has a more kind of metallic effect almost. It's super reflective. Whereas I think Saucy really lets the depth of the color and the shimmer kind of shine equally. This is gonna be so good for the holidays. Amazing. Okay. There is Saucy. Next we have, oh my gosh, we stacked all the hits. And by we, I mean I, because I'm filming this by myself in my dining room table. But this is fun. Okay. Now we always say that even the same color formula between long lasting and quick dry is not going to have the same payoff because it's in a different base. But what we often try to do is give folks a quick dry version of one of their most loved long lasting shades, because sometimes you just really need your favorite shade in a hurry. So that is the case for Jammy, whose closest color cousin, I would say fraternal twin maybe, would be Garnet Glass, because Garnet Glass was a sheer kind of Bordeaux-y red shade that came out in fall of 2024, and it was such a hit. So we wanted to make sure that you had kind of a version of that in quick dry. Also because sometimes you like to layer in a hurry, and layering with quick dry is such a dream because you can have it dry in a minute. So what I've pulled are some classics and then some kind of jelly counterparts. So CV, kind of level setting us. CV is our classic cherry red. Mulberry is a way more purpley kind of red. SC, which launched in fall of 2019, if you can believe it, is the opaque version of Garnet Glass and Jammy. And then Luxe Loafer, which came out in fall of 2023, is the jelly version of Obsessed, which came out in winter of 2020. So these are really beautiful to layer with, like Jammy on top of an Obsessed, or Jammy on top of an SC, or even a Mulberry or CV would give you that really gorgeous bouncy dimension that layering with jellies over opaques gives you. But also 2 coats of Jammy is just this stunning, rich, it's kind of like vampy, but not too vampy kind of look. And then I think also when you see them in this view, Jammy, of course, is right here. You can see it's not an exact match to Garnet Glass, because again, the formula is different and that will have an impact on how the color shows up. But you can see the translucency between these two and then those two. So we expect y'all will love Jammy. This was the color of the quick dry bottle that Hannah and SGT were carrying through the streets of Manhattan at our amazing event, if y'all went to that over the weekend. Okay, next we have Darling. And Darling is a bold, deep, magenta-y, pinky purple. And I know what you're thinking. This is Olive and June. They have a lot of pinks. And you'd be right. But again, nothing quite like Darling, I would say. So I pulled some close colors and then just a few that are not close to kind of give you a good sense of the universe. So here's Darling. Closest comparisons for Darling, I would say, would be Biggest Bow, which is a long-lasting shade, or Leotard. It's not quite as bright as Leotard. It's not quite as pink as Wildest. It's certainly not as pink as XOXO or Love All, which kind of go in this Barbie territory. Hibiscus is a red with pink in it. And then JG from fall of 2019 is that kind of raspberry red color. But JG and Darling have this kind of muted quality to them that I think make it feel very fall, whereas like Leotard and Wildest kind of shout at you a lot more. But I would say Darling is a deeper, biggest bow at the end of the day. It's hard to pick favorite names for any of these because they're all so fun, but I can hear someone complimenting someone and calling them a darling. So it's very appropriate for classic deep magenta pink. And you can see that Wildest, and then you have sort of the Barbie zone down here. But this is Darling. Fabulous. Okay, what's next? I swear I lose track of time too whenever I'm doing these, especially quick dry, because there's so many shades. We usually have larger quick dry collections than we do long lasting. All right, so now we're gonna do Sable. And Sable, along with the other colors that you're going to see here, is one of those enigmatic shades that really morphs depending on what you put it next to. So Sable is like a warm, milky chocolate kind of color, but I think when you get it closer to a shade like Patron of the Arts, it starts to pull more purple. When you put it next to Fawn, I get a lot more gray from a shade like Fawn. Shacket is a lot more warm. JJ all the way here at the bottom is like a cinnamon brown, so that one I think is probably the most different. Ditto with Americano, which is like a more yellow brown, and I threw in dark chocolate at the top here just so you could see sort of what the depth of the darkness of Sable is. But here's the deal with shades like Sable. We now have quite a few versions of this kind of minky, warm, browny, neutral kind of color, but we have heard from all of y'all that sometimes a shade like Patron of the Arts you think is going to be a certain way on your skin tone, or you think it's going to look more brown or more purple on you, but you wish it were more gray. So our goal with these kinds of shades is to create more depth and more range with these deep neutrals so that you can find your perfect one. So if you have tried Shacket or Fawn or Patron of the Arts and you have not yet found your dream deep, milky, fall winter neutral, Sable could be it, dare I say. Sable is one of those colors too where, okay, I'm like giving away too much of my nail polish lore, but I was in a sorority in college, and one of my favorite things to talk about with potential new members was nail polish colors. Surprise, surprise. And I always love when people ask like, what color are you wearing? Because I think a color like Sable just immediately kicks off a great convo, because you're like, is it purple? Is it brown? Is it gray? So you can see Sable is right here. So it does kind of pick up the elements of whoever it's next to. But if I had to typecast it, I would say it's like a more brown, less purpley pink version of Patron of the Arts. It appears Pebbles might have taken a bite out of this JJ Swatch stick. But there is Sable. All right. Next we have, we're continuing on our moody, deep neutral journey. Bunny, which I will admit is probably the best name of this whole collection, is one of the deeper shades in this. So I'm going to pull some of the deeper colors here. Bunny is one of those deep browns that I think can often pull quite purpley as well. So I pulled some of the shades you've just seen in the past. I would describe Bunny as a darker version of Patron of the Arts. Would be my quick definition. It is a, here's Cien, Covet, oh, Americano, whoopsie. Threw in some kind of bonus colors in here, but I would say it's like a darker version of Patron of the Arts because it does pull quite purple. I would also say it is a purpley version of dark chocolate because it's got a lot of the depth that dark chocolate has. Americano in this lineup looks very yellow, so that's not a super close comparison, but I think especially when it comes to quick dry, we'd still have so many more shades of long-lasting polish than we do quick dry, so I think it's always fun to throw in some bonus quick dry colors in there for you. So let's take a closer look at Bunny. Bunny is so fun to say, of course, but I also think it has, if anyone has in your life has ever had a pet bunny before and you've ever pet a pet bunny, they are truly the softest creatures on the planet. And I think there's like a softness to this color, despite being kind of deep and moody, that is really special. It almost has this like tactile, fluffy quality to it, despite the fact that it's obviously not fluffy or anything at all, but it's plush and lush, and it's so chic and sophisticated. So it's not as purple as Patron of the Arts. Patron of the Arts now looks quite mauve next to Bunny, but it's definitely like a deeper kind of purpley version of that. Not quite as vampy as Covet or Cien, of course. But there is Bunny. Love. Okay. Yeah, like I was saying, I think I really do lose a little bit of my mind and then also track of time when I'm doing this. So it's gonna be a surprise whether this video is like half an hour long or maybe 2 hours long. Who knows? Okay, Moonlight, super unique shade for us. So pulling these comparisons was kind of a funny exercise because there really is nothing like it, but I never pass an opportunity to talk about Lucky Oyster, the shade formerly known as Shiny Shark. So let's do that. And then I need Scattered Showers from over here. Okay. Moonlit is a sheer jelly gray color, which is very special. And it has flakes of holographic sparkles in it. So here's the deal with Moonlit. There is no jelly sheer gray comparison color to it. There is no gray that I think is like a perfect match to Moonlit. I would say the gray base here is on the more like green side. So I pulled Scattered Showers, which is kind of like a more green sort of gray. Rainy Day Walk looks like a putty neutral compared to it. And then Koala from Quick Dry, I think, has some green yellow in it as well, but again, not the same as Moonlit. Lucky Oyster and Elevator are another one of those kind of long-lasting quick dry counterparts. And I wanted to pull It's Never Enough and Glitter Cowgirl because Glitter Cowgirl, which is unfortunately limited edition and no longer available, but Glitter Cowgirl has these flakes in it in a jelly, milky, sheer base, and then It's Never Enough has those same flakes in a totally clear base. The flakes in Moonlit are not as pinky purple as the flakes in Glitter Cowgirl and It's Never Enough. The reflective shift on Moonlit is a lot more kind of like orangey, corally. The flakes in Moonlit are also a lot smaller and a lot more tightly packed than the flakes in Glitter Cowgirl. So Moonlight is very unique, and we were very inspired by kind of this like silvery way that the moonlight kind of dances on all these surfaces in the evening. This will be very fun to layer with over any of these grays, I think, for sure. And if you've been here since the Shiny Shark days, please say hi in the comments, because I'd like to say hi to you as well. All right. Team Green, the time is now. Okay, Mossy. This is a fresh kind of khaki, grassy sort of green. Really nothing like it, but pulling in some of our green faves here. And then some kind of bonus greens as well. So TLDR, super unique. As far as greens go, WKF, shout out Katie, is a lot more cool toned. Mossy and Touchdown both have a lot of yellow, ditto with sagey. It's kind of this like khaki sage kind of green, whereas Meadow, Cucumber Sandwich, and Still Life of Flowers are cooler. I kind of put WKF in the middle of these two sort of like yellowy khaki versus cooler blue toned greens. Mossy is the fashion color of this collection. It is bold. It is so fun, and I think because it has a lot of this like khaki brown quality to it, I think it will also beautifully play like a neutral. I would definitely give it a try as a pedicure to dip your toes into the trend, pun intended. But yeah, there is really nothing like Mossy in our universe here. Like, look at Still Life of Flowers looking like almost like teal over here. Sagey looking almost gray. I think that WKF and Mossy are besties. I also think Katie really likes this color too. I'm pretty sure she texted me about it when she received it. So I'm excited to hear her review. But yes, khaki, brown, grassy, fresh, green. I feel like every cool jacket on the runway this fall, winter is this kind of color. And that is inspiring me to thrift one. All right. Roar. This one is spicy. Okay. Reds. We love a red in fall, winter. We also clearly love throwing swatch sticks everywhere during fall and winter as well. We throw swatch sticks all the time in this house. Okay, so this is not a true red by any means. So I pulled one true red, and then I pulled some additional. Where did my Primrose swatch stick go? There we go. Okay, so here's Roar, kind of in the center. And then I pulled Lollipop, which is the kind of cherry red, classic and quick dry. Let's circle back. This is a orangey red, kind of dusty tomato soup. Secret Recipe is a blue toned red. Where I think Roar really fits in well is in this middle section here, because it is like a slightly lighter version of In the Clutch. To me, it's like if Primrose and In the Clutch had a baby, because it's definitely pulls very pink, but I also love that it pulls the kind of dustiness that Primrose has. It's not quite as brown as Lipstick Stain. Lipstick Stain is like the 90s kind of red color, but Roar sits really beautifully in this universe. If I had to make a wager, I would say that Roar is probably going to be one of the top sellers for this, because it's just endlessly wearable. If you love pink or you love red, it's just so easy to wear. And I think with a name like Roar, how can you not feel like a total legend, you know? but Nailfy Time looks like a magenta pink here. So, oh, I'm sort of failing at my fanning now. Okay, so there's Roar right here. And then let me pull it up next to, here's Primrose in the clutch, and then Roar. So it's not quite as pink. It's got a little bit more of that red in it. But I love this color. Stunning. Okay. And then last but certainly not, oh no, we have two more, what am I saying? Last but second to certainly not least, we have Lovely. And Lovely, this was a fun one to do because it was very unique. Pulling a lot of quick dry pinks here. My personal favorite shade, Poodle, in honor of my poodle who has miraculously not barked during this presentation yet, which I think is a miracle. Where is my Prairie? Okay. So Lovely is a dusty rosy pink. So I pulled a mix of true pinks, bubblegum pinks, lavender pinks, and then I also wanted to pull some kind of true purpley mauves just to show you how this shade works. So Poodle in this lineup looks beige. SE looks like bubblegum. JM looks straight up purple. But there is really nothing like Lovely, in my opinion. It's a warm rosy pink, dusty, which gives it that fall kind of quality, but it's not as mauve as World Lit, but not as red as Primrose. But it does pick up a little bit of that like purpliness sometimes when it's next to a shade like Prairie. So these shades down here, Nuance looks like a coral. It's not this bright, but again, if you are someone who loves pink, but I know that sometimes pink can feel really saccharine and really like sweet candy sort of pink. So I would definitely reach for a shade like Lovely in the fall when you're ready to kind of cozy on up to more of a fall vibe while still honoring your love of pinks. So there is Lovely. And it is just such a lovely color, you know? I would say it's like not as yellowy as Nuance, which is right here. It's like a mix of Nuance and Primrose maybe. Or like a pinkier Poodle. It's a mystery. It is like a very magical color. All right, there's Lovely. And last but certainly not least, we have Plum. Like I said, sometimes we really hit the nail on the head with the naming here. This feels very like Professor Plum in the game of Clue. We don't have a ton of warm purples in our world, but what I will pull are here for you. A similar fruit friend in Who Likes Raisins. But Plum is a warm, deep purple. Velvet Poof is a very dark, cool toned purple. Art Class is purple with gray. I'd say Plum is, if you like Who Likes Raisins, I think you'll like Plum. I think if you like Plaza, I think you'll like Plum. But I feel like it's Who Likes Raisins with this more dusty cardigan treatment. Don't Spill on the White Couch is a lot more red and brown. But I wanted to bring that one in too so you could see it. But it's a plummy purple. Very chic. Pebbles is awake now because she hears that the swatch show is almost over. All right, so here we have the purple comparisons. Oh, she's awake. All right, so there is Plum right there. And that concludes this season's episode of the Swatch Show. I'm wearing Slate, which I love, and I'm going to go hang with my poodle, not from this collection, but named for quick dry. As always, let us know in the comments what you think. I'm here for all of your feedback. All of y'all so much, and we'll see you on the next one.